some really strong riders coming out of the UK on the street luge scene here.
Yeah, Josh has been on the podium before WDSC Isle of Man last season. I think he had, third place there. There's still a lot of snow up on the hills here in Turkey. We're in eastern Turkey above the city of Erzincan. And it's the fourth time that we have visited this part of the world on the WDSC, the World Downhill Skateboarding Championship. And the new season is underway. Josh Fieldwick powering out of the start to get the qualification underway. There you see, there's the change, folks, into that first hairpin. And now we drive down. This is all brand new road. We sweep to the left. We're not calling them turns 1 and 2 because we don't want to change turn 6. And now we're back in familiar territory, Adam, with these long straightaways. And this is a brutal hill, isn't it? It is so tough. It's so rewarding as well.
It really is a truly vicious track, honestly. It's so fast. It's so steep. The braking seems to change from year to year. It's a really, really challenging course. Josh Fieldwick handling it well here, coming out of some of these turns nicely. But yeah, it's a real challenge. I think a lot of people would say the Turkey course is kind of just the premier race course in the world right now. It's the most challenging. It's long. It's fast. It's extremely, extremely difficult to even skate down at all, even for some of the best. To just make it to the bottom is its own challenge. So certainly, against the knife, it is tough. Fieldwick there. Nice work through turn 6. Clean through that one.
Yeah, coming into turn 7. Familiar territory for Josh. You see him working that luge. But this has been solid so far. He's not made any big mistakes, carrying some good speed through this section. And this is where things really get fun. Into turn 8 here, and then it sweeps back around where your line has got to be absolutely spot on. Otherwise, you can lose quite a lot of time here. And the forces that build up on these long sweeping turns, it's so difficult to manage. But Josh Fieldwick from Great Britain, getting this session underway, is doing a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, nice work through there. Getting into some of these faster sections, like you said, the speed just starts to build and build. And you looking down the straightaway and just seeing, oh my Lord, that turn is so far away, and you just gotta stay locked in. Fieldwick doing a nice job of it there, winding out. He's taking more of a central line through some of this. Maybe maybe could use a little bit more of that road. But we're also only in the first round of qualifiers, so could be just building, with a little bit of a safety buffer there. The only thing you really don't want to do here is run out of road and crash. That would be obviously catastrophic. So maybe building to where he's going to wind out a little bit further in some of the later rounds.
More to come maybe, but really nice run from Josh Fieldwick. Good looking feelings on the hill. 2:39.591 his time. We move on to Ulrich Becker, the German that was in the fight, wasn't he, last season for the world title. He had some fantastic results, winning in the Isle of Man, his first WDSC win. And we know he looks and studies the courses in great detail, wearing new leathers as well, Savia leathers. The suit provider for Ulrich Becker. And of course, we've got to shout out Becker grip soles as well. So many of the riders using Becker grip soles. And Ulrich, he's been here before. He knows this course. He knows this hill. And second last year behind Abdel Madzan, who got the win in 2025. And he is a man, Becker, that you cannot count out on this type of course.
No, you can't. Ulrich's a technician, truly. He is dialed on the course. He does his homework. He leaves no stone unturned, if you will. So, yeah, absolutely not someone you can ever count out. He's a really, really strong rider, and it looks like he's going in for attack on his first quali run already. Definitely not leaving much on the table here. Going, full bail to bail already. Getting full use of the width of the road.
I'm going to say exactly the same. Coming into turn 6 here, and he started this pinches that line and back in for turn at number 7. And Becker knows that, okay, 2 more qualification runs to come. But let's get a good one down here and ready to attack later on in Q2 and Q3. We'll bring you Ulrich Becker's time when we get it. This is Phil Spencer, a man that continues to improve and develop in this sport, supported by Don't Feed the Bears. And Phil Spencer into this first turn. Amazing footage already from our drone pilots, getting up close and personal with the riders. More of that to come throughout the weekend. But with the weather, potential weather, you can all see those clouds in the distance. If it comes in and we run out of time, you never know. It might only be one qualification run. So you don't want to hang back too much, do you, Adam? You've got to think, okay, this might count.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do never know what's going to happen with the structure. You know, weather can change things, and they've got to work with what they've got. So it is definitely helpful to just go ahead and knock it out. Back to Uli's feed here, and we've got our speed tracker up top. You can see that speed building almost at 80 Ks there at the end, and that is not even the fastest part of the track. You know, in the middle parts, he's cooking.
Yeah, 2:34.768. That is the quickest so far in the luge early stages. Josh Fieldwick was a 2:39.591. Phil Spencer through turn 6. No problems so far for Phil. Sporting the black and yellow leathers, easy to spot. Waiting in the start, George Cheeseman. I had the pleasure of bumping into George at the airport on Thursday when he texted me from across the gate area saying, I didn't even spot him because it was like 5 in the morning and I wasn't quite awake. But nice to see George at the airport and again in Istanbul. Back to Phil and Phil Spencer, a little bit further down the course. He was 4th here last year. I think this is a hill that Phil Spencer really, really likes.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how he goes this year. Like you said, he's developing a lot as a racer. And so to see how that builds, you know, what's he been doing in the offseason. And I think, you know, it's the first race of the season. So we're going to see that with a lot of folks. We're going to see people who put in a ton of work in the offseason and have made huge gains and, you know, maybe catching up to some of the faster folks. And so it's always an interesting litmus test when you get into the first race of the year and kind of see where everyone's standing.
Yeah, that is always... it's always going to throw up a surprise or two, isn't it? First race of the year. And of course, in Street Luge this year, we've got Andy Lally right from the start, and he's never raced here before. So this is a nice introduction. And there he is, Andy Lally. He's seen this course. He's watched this course. He'll have studied this course as well. And deciding now's the time. He's got to come and race it. Of course, he had that exceptional end to last season. He raced in Utah and in El Salvador, took both victories, and we know how good a racer he is, whether he's on a street luge or in a car. This man is quick. Back to George Cheeseman.
George Cheeseman, nice work through 6 there. Good break in, and you know, 6 is really historically has been the crux turn for a lot of people, even though it's not the fastest turn, but it's one of the most technical and easy to miss your line. Back on Andy Lally here. Yeah, Andy, you know, first-time racer on this course, which for most people, you know, is kind of a mark against them. You say, oh, first-time racer in Turkey, they're going to have some work to do. I have a feeling Andy is going to get it figured out.
It's one of the things that makes him so good, isn't it? Because all of that years and years of experience and success on the track in motorsport, his ability to read a line, commit to a line, like, but very, very early, you know, on a track, like 2-3 runs, and he is able to get dialed in pretty quickly. He's going to need that here because when you're up against Abdelmadzan, Phil Spencer, Josh Fieldwick, that have all raced here before with success, Lally's going to have to get this figured out really, really quickly. Phil Spencer's time, 2:38.738, so under 2:40 for Phil Spencer. Becker was a 2:34. Josh Fieldwick was a 2:39. So all eyes on Andy Lally and seeing how he can handle this. But he's so fluid, isn't he, Adam? He just moves so well on the board, and every bit of energy that he's got, he uses everything exceptionally well.
Yeah, he has great form. Really knows how to pick a race course apart piece by piece, and just capitalize on every single piece of it in order. Let's see how he goes here. Turn 6, crux turn. Super fluid braking there. Onto just the left foot and a perfect wind out. I think that's the strongest one we've seen yet. I mean, he was absolute perfection on winding out of turn 6.
He let that run out beautifully, used every little bit of the race course, and has carried more speed through into this section, which is so fast. You see the gondolas up above, whisking the athletes, the riders, back to the top. It is a dream location to be racing. We'd have to close off the road and get everyone back up, hanging out the back of a truck. We just take the gondola, although I quite enjoy going up in a truck myself. Let's watch Andy Lally through this next turn. Yeah, Adam again, spot on the racing line.
Yeah. I mean, just flawless execution there, and that is probably the fastest turn on the hill. It's honestly a nightmare to come into that turn. You come in so fast, and you're just turning right for an eternity, and then you've got to shut all that speed down and crank it over to the left. It's just a brutal turn.
And if you get it wrong, don't you? If you get it wrong, you lose so much time on this section because it's so fast. So you've got to get that turn right to carry the speed through this final section. Andy Lally crosses the line. It is a 2:31.7. That is the quickest so far.
Wow.
Well, he's figuring it out, isn't he?
Work. Yeah, he figured it out pretty quick. No surprises there.
This is the moment you come to life. Smile pulled you close, held you tight. Feel the magic suddenly. The pieces fit together like family.
Enjoying the weekend doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't require a ticket to get in. large crowds, or wasting your time in traffic. Enjoying the weekend, and I mean truly making the most of it, it's just a decision that you make. It's the people you spend it with, again and again at the end of every week. It's right there waiting for you.
It's the little things that get me high. Won't you come with me and spend the night? It's the little things that get me high. Won't you come with me and spend the night? Just a little thing for you and I. And if it's meant to be, then that's alright.
Andy Lally currently in top spot in Q1 with a time of 2:31.7. And now it is the turn of Abdil Madzan. He won the world title last season and he wants it again, but the competition is hot right from the start of the season. Of course, a couple of years ago, Abdil had a massive crash here, kept him out of the race. He came back last year. He won the race, Adam, and he wants to do it again.
Yeah, and if there's anyone who's going to give Andy Lally a run for his money at that top time in the first quali round here, it's going to be Abdil. I mean, super, super strong rider. He's been in the game forever, and he's just textbook.
So much experience on this course. Victories, of course, on this hill as well. Abdel Madzan knows it better than anyone. He has been training hard and looking to take the challenge again to Andy Lally and defend his title from last season.
And Abdil had that huge crash here a couple seasons ago. It's so good to see him, back on course, attacking it. Boom, little lift, little second lift to get a little extra braking in. Nice work from Abdil there. Solid wind out. That was excellent work through turn 6 for Abdil. I think he's going to be happy with that turn.
See the speeds maybe not quite as accurate as they should be at this point, but we're testing out some new equipment, folks. Testing out some GPS trackers. We've got the team in from France who are doing an amazing job. And we do lose signal at some parts of the course. All of the riders are wearing a GPS tracker, but now you can see Abdel Madzan up over 100 kilometers an hour. I'd say that's pretty accurate, Adam.
Yeah, that's more like it, although it potentially even still a little low. I think some of these street losers have been known to hit even a little bit higher than that through that section. It gets
120
so
plus we've seen in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, I believe so. And that was where Abdil saw that huge crash a couple years ago. Good to see him through that turn safely, feeling good and strong on the luge here.
Well, Madzan, this is the last of the real tough corners. And he's through it safely, runs it wide. Supported, of course, by Seismic, Riptide, and Don't Trip. Abdel Madzan now can focus on the finish line. Andy Lally's timer, 2:31.7 in Q1. Abdel Madzan is on the charge. He is building towards the finish line. How close is he going to get? It is a 2:32 in Q1 for Abdel Madzan. They are just 0.3 of a second between them, Adam.
So close. I mean, incredible to be that close already this early in the event too, and the times are probably only going to get closer. But, of course, still a couple more rounds of qualifying, to see the final time and see who ends up on P1 for the race. But Andy Lally definitely going to be happy with that top spot for now from the first round, always where you want to be, dropping in first set of times. And okay, all right, I'm in top spot. Sounds good. Let's keep it going.
Taking the top 6 through in the luge to Q2. So Andy Lally in top spot, Abdel Madzan in second, Ulrich Becker third, Phil Spencer fourth, Josh Fieldwick in fifth, George Cheeseman sixth. back on the start line. We are going to get our open stand-up, our open skateboard Q1 underway. First stop of 4 this season. In a few weeks' time, we head back to the Isle of Man on a new course. We're on the TT course out of Ramsey this year. That is going to be epic between the 4th and 5th of July. In September, it's Cumberland Valley, USA, Pennsylvania, between the 18th and 20th. And then we finish up the season in El Salvador for the Tamarinique Grand Prix between the 4th and 6th of December. Adam, quite a few athletes, a few riders, I should say, here in stand-up for the first time. And what was going through your mind when you were standing up the top of this hill a few years ago for the first time?
Oh, man, I'm not going to lie. I was in the blender at this race. I was having a really, really difficult time mentally, just because the track is so challenging. And, you know, I think I do a pretty good job of kind of knowing where I'm at and trying to stay positive. But, man, I was really scared of this track, you know, and just like, wow, yeah, I was struggling to even make it down the course. A very, very challenging track for me that year. But, you know, everyone seems to be getting a little more used to it every year, especially the folks who are comeback riders. You know, the current crop of elite riders really love this track. I mean, I think in some ways it's the only track that is...
It's fast,
lets you
it's
truly
brutal,
let loose.
it's intense. The World Downhill Skateboarding Championship is back in Erzincan, Turkey.
The big crash corner, this is going to be huge.
Colby parks, but leaves some room into turn 5.
And there's a collision, and they both go down.
It is a drag race between these two. Oh, this is amazing racing between these two. It's going to go right back to the
Huge crash! Get ready to battle it out on the slopes of Erzincan.
The race over for Andy Smith. Carrying a lot of speed into turn 6. There's some contact there. Yeah, we are building to tomorrow's finals. I cannot wait for that because this track is electric when it comes to racing. But that is all to come. Tomorrow is qualification day here in Erzincan, Turkey, round number 1 of the World Downhill Skateboarding Championship. Delighted to be back in this beautiful part of the world. So much to see and do, summer or winter. You go paragliding, horse riding, so much beautiful walking as well. I like the town and wandering around the town, soaking up the culture. But there's just more restaurants and cafes around this year as we get ready to start the stand-up qualification. It's Dean Munt from the Netherlands who is going to be first to go. One thing we should say for everyone watching, we had a fantastic training session yesterday, Adam. So much time on the course. So the newcomers to Erzincan have had a real good opportunity to get the feeling dialed in as well as you can yesterday.
Yeah, you know, it definitely, the change from day 1 to day 2 on this course is enormous. I mean, you can really, your brain starts to adapt to the speed and the acceleration factor even more than the speed, or as much as. You know, once your brain gets on that pace a little bit, you can start to kind of manage, okay, you know, this is what this feels like, and start to try to build from there. But nice,
what do you
nice
think?
work.
Go on. I was just going to say, what do you think about the line coming into this first couple of turns when we think about the heats tomorrow?
You know, it's hard to say. I'm interested to see how the full crop of stand-up riders takes that turn. You know, like I said, I haven't skated that turn like I have the rest of the course, so it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be tight off the line. You know, it's not a lot of area to push, so the first few pushes are going to be instrumental if you want to get out first and try to build yourself a little bit of a gap. You know, alternatively, you know, maybe some folks decide, hey, that's just not enough room to build much of a gap. Maybe they'll slot in and say, yeah, this is such a long course. You know, as long as you're in a reasonable position, there's enough room to track down and make a pass too. So the strategy will be interesting to track.
I was going to say, actually, yeah, that was kind of what I was thinking as well. You don't want to lose the race in the first turn, so maybe it is about, okay, just stay in touch, keep that connection. Nice work here from Dean Moon through turn 6. And there's opportunities further down the course, isn't there? But you've got to stay in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the main thing, is you just can't lose the pace of the pack, I think, when you're racing here. You know, if you want to stay in touch with the race, you've got to stay on it, because there is so much time for them to build and get away. Now, of course, the other thing, and it seems obvious to the viewers at home maybe, but is don't crash. And I mean, it seems simple, but every year there's crashes in finals and semis. You know, we've seen so much crashing at the top end of this race that, you know, a major part of the strategy of this course is simply stay on the board. And it's way easier said than done.
Well, one of the changes that we have this season, race director, we got Zach Madem here, and he's overseeing. He's gonna be watching the heats tomorrow in the video room. And if there's anything, not what Dean Moon would have wanted there, Adam will come back and talk about Zach in a minute. But he'd been putting together a pretty solid run there, and unfortunately, quite near the bottom.
That was looking strong. You hate to see him just clip the bales there. Just came in a little hot into that course, and you know, a crash this far down, maybe he's able to pick up enough speed to still make it into one of those top 20 spots. It's going to advance to Q2, but it's going to be pretty difficult. It was going to probably rely on a few other people crashing out too to kind of give him that chance there. Let's get a little replay of this crash. And you can see he tries to chirp a second slide there. He knows he overcooked it a little bit and almost gets away with it, but just can't quite stay out of the bales there.
Well, he is going to be frustrated after that one. That's going to sting, because that was a run that I think would have been good enough for Q2. We don't know yet. We've got to get through all of the riders. Of course, this is the biggest field we've ever had in Erzincan. And Dean Moon's time in the end, 2:45.676. On to Stefano Barbizzi. 5th place here last year, won the Consi final. I think he's due a podium on this hill.
You know, I know he would love a podium on this hill. Stefano, he's been in the sport forever. He's a true veteran racer. And, you know, at this stage of his career, to be able to still put down a podium here in Turkey would be exceptional. I know he'd be thrilled with that. And a really, really strong rider. He's definitely a contender for that position.
Exceptionally strong, knows the hill, knows the road, supported by Venom, Board Style Skate Shop, and BDS Ricame. And Stefano Barbizzi, a world champion not that long ago, only a few seasons back, wasn't it? So still very much at the top of his game. And this is a hill, though, Adam. Experience can count.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a few years on this hill to know what you're getting into and come in, get on pace quickly, and be able to work your lines instead of have to spend a couple days, you know, managing that is really helpful. Stefano hitting 2 slides there. He hits the first Pindy and then goes in for a little more to break, just a little bit extra, and then really nice wind out for him. That was excellent work through turn 6. It's so hard to judge your breaking point through turn 6, and a slight change in the wind, you know, can push that breaking point, you know, up or down quite a bit. And it's just, you know, you start braking so far before you actually turn in for the corner. It can be really, really difficult to judge.
Almost a little bit of air brake in there. You can see that's the knowledge that he's got of this hill. Just stand up, take some of the speed away, focus on the line. It is just Q1. He knows his skill set. If he just puts a clean run, a full pull down with no mistakes, then he is going to be into Q2. And you can, once you're in Q2, you forget about your Q1 time. So we'll bring you Stefano Barbizzi's time once we get it. Now, one rider that we missed, Vasek Vankara from Czechia, 2:35.434. He made the final here in 2023, but that is a quick time as we move on to Patrick Stoll, his first visit to Erzincan, supported by Base Noble and Fiend Skate and Sundays as well. So Patrick Stoll on course. We're going to pick up Barbizzi, 2:37.491. Solid. That should be enough for Barbizzi to get in. But Van Kara's time really, really quick. And Fabio Minning, who I think is another first-time visitor to Erzincan, but he is another strong competitor, Adam.
He is, and actually, I think Fabio was here in 24 because I think I had a heat with him actually, but he missed this past year.
That's maybe what I'm thinking. I'm going to double check that.
But he's
he was here 24. Yeah, I skipped a bit in my notes. Apologize, folks.
He is super strong rider though. I think I remember him doing well that year. Ended up maybe crashing out or getting crashed out. I can't remember, even though I was there. Somehow I'm blanking on what happened. But
did you hit your head?
Yeah, I actually did hit my head on that, at that race. Believe it or not.
I've had a few people join me in the commentary box here after hitting their heads. So it's nice you're safe and warm right now.
But yeah, Fabio is an excellent racer. He's been on the scene a long time. Really strong, aggressive rider. Knows how to get in and play ball. Not afraid to, to get, really in the mix in a heat and be fighting it out until the line.
Well, let's see Patrick Stoll again.
Ooh, didn't quite make it around.
That is what turn 6 could do to you.
Yeah, and that's, like we were talking about, just judging those braking points. That's what happens when you misjudge it by just a foot or two. It doesn't take much, and that'll, be enough to knock you out there. Just because there's not a lot of time to fade the brake. Some turns, if you overcook it and you come in a little too hot and brake a little too late, you can brake a little deeper into the turn. And, you may lose a little speed, but at least you won't crash. And turn 6 is not that way. If you don't brake early enough, you're pretty much going to hit the bales because the time in from when you stop braking until those hay bales is so short.
It's a little bit of coursework getting done. Just sweeping any excess hay, making sure those bales are back in position as we wait for Fabio Minning to start his run. We were saying we've got Zach Maynham here. He's going to be overlooking the rules tomorrow, making sure everyone is playing by the rules and making the decisions as well. Khalil Hamouri here working on safety as well. So we've grown the team to improve the environment for the riders out there, and it's certainly sped things up this weekend, getting all the hay in place in the right spots. And we are delighted to have Zach and Khalil on board this season.
Yeah, and you talk about someone with a vested interest in safety. Khalil, after that huge crash here a few years back, major back injury, that was a big hit for him. So I know he's going to be looking over this with a fine-tooth comb, making sure everything's buttoned up.
Yeah, he knows the hospital well. Khalil's luggage didn't arrive for about 4 days. I gave him a pair of socks. He was wandering around the hotel going, I need some socks. Like, Khalil, I got to have these. I didn't have them on me. I went back to my room to get them. But here's Fabio Minning. You can see we've got some live speed for you. We're going to try and build on that throughout the season, folks. We're testing it today. We're going to be testing it more tomorrow. And here he comes into turn number 6.
Nice pre-carve there. And then locks it down for the Pindy. Maybe a slight extra slide there. Great exit for him. Already back in tuck. That was nice work through turn 6 for Fabio.
You can see, you called it, just how quick he got back into the tuck, managed the speed through the turn, managed the line, and now he can focus on the next part of the racetrack where this speed really does build through here. Avoids a wobble into turn 8. You've got to hit that apex because this sweeps back around. And turn 9, this next one, it just keeps on going, doesn't it? You think, when's this turn going to end?
Yeah, it really does. And see how he handles it. A little far out here. It's a little tough to see his form, but looks like a nice line through there. I think this is going to be a fast run for Fabio. It looks like he's made really nice work through the rest of this track. staying low through that, through the sweepers after 6, even if not fully locked hands behind back, he was able to stay pretty low and no big air brakes.
Last of the tricky turns, and now Fabio Minning has put together an impressive run here. Leading time at the moment is Vasek Vankara, 2:35.434. How close to that time is Minning going to get? This is the last of the sweeping turns. The finish line is in sight, and Fabio Minning crosses the line with a 2:36.774. So that's pretty competitive, but it's still very early days.
Yeah, it is very early days. A lot of riders left to go. Hussein Nas here, cutting over to his feed. Nice work through 6 from him. Hussein also with some good experience at this race. Newer rider. He's been on the scene a few years now. And I'm sure he's been skating a lot longer than that. But I started seeing his name a few years ago, and he's a really good rider. So he'll be one to watch out for here too.
Yeah, he's been training hard in Norway, avoiding the rain and the snow. We didn't see him last season. Great to have him back. So there's the leading time for you. Another rider that we missed, Jaime Arch, just over a second behind. Fabio Minning, 1.3 behind as well. So we'll try and bring you that as much as we can. As I say, we're working on it. We're building things for you just to try and improve the visual experience for you. And for many people, Owen Fox's skating provides a great visual experience, doesn't it? What a real big breakthrough season last year in many ways for Owen Fox. He was 3rd here last year, getting on the podium. Some solid riding from Fox when it counted. He was 3rd in the opening round of the Tour, 3rd in El Salvador. He had a consistent season. Finished 3rd in the standings. Can he kick on from here?
And, Owen, such a strong rider and such, textbook form, always super fun to watch skate. And, it'll be interesting to see what he does this season. Last season, like you said, it was like he was having such a strong season. I mean, I know a lot of people, it's like all eyes were on Frenchie last year, but, Owen's like, quietly just having this incredible season, just a fraction behind Frenchie. But, maybe this is the year that he can step up into that top spot and really do some good work.
He's riding a custom mids board this weekend in Erzincan. And a man that bashed his head a few years ago on this course. There's quite a lot of riders that could say that, but it was that consistency. It was only Isle of Man last season that he struggled a bit. To be fair to him, he was not well. He had a horrible cold. He was really struggling physically in the Isle of Man last year. But everything else, he was just consistently getting through heats, qualifying well, putting himself in really good positions every single race, which was great to see. But the field continues to grow on WDSC, and we've got a few riders from the start, like Nick Broms. We've already seen Patrick Stoll. We got Max Caps here as well. It is going to be tough. It is going to be tough because we're full of quality. Here he is in turn 6.
And he just looks so comfortable. I think that's one of the main things you see when you see Owen ride. It's like no matter what speed and no matter what he's doing, he just looks comfortable on the board. He looks like he's got so much control over what he's doing, and that really can play to your benefit. On a track like this, you have to be comfortable. You have to stay fluid.
Well, that's the current standings right now. Dean Mont and Patrick Stoll both having crashes. We'll have to see what happens throughout the remainder of Q1 to see if they are going to hold on to a top 20 place. Hussein Naz in with a 2:39.347. Just ultra smooth riding from Fox here, isn't it? Just gliding down this course beautifully.
It looks like we got Morgan Owens' time just slotted into the mix as well. 9 seconds off a pole. He must have had some problems too, because we know we've seen him do some really strong work here in the past.
Yeah, just getting word from the crew that Morgan did have a small crash as well, so that's impacted on his time. Good catch there, Adam, but no problem so far for Fox.
Yeah, that was flawless work. I mean, it's just it's the Owen Fox show when he's on. It's flawless execution. It's perfect form through every corner, and that's what we're seeing here today.
Very competitive time. It hasn't flashed up. Yes, it has. There we go. So Owen Fox in with a 2:35.896. That puts him in second, just under half a second down on our Czech leader. Might be one or two people saying, oh, is that a surprise? I don't think it is, because we've seen Van Kara in the past just go so well on this hill.
Yeah, and what great work, from Vasek there to be holding that number one spot still. Really, really nice work from him. Be interesting to see where that time holds up throughout the day, but that's a fantastic start for him. I wish we could have caught his run.
But of course, we've still got plenty more big hitters to come, like Sir Harry Clark, Adrian Paynell. Don't forget, of course, Antoine Carlotti. He was the quickest of the times that we had in training yesterday. A couple of other riders underway. Paul Vogel underway. Micaiah Harness next up, and Micaiah's been a regular on the scene, a man out of USA, supported by Harness Chiropractic, Valkyrie Trucks, Wood Family Dental. He's got the best teeth in the business.
And Micaiah's, he's from over here in my neck of the woods. We used to do quite a bit of training together. Really, really strong skater. And he's been here now, a couple times, and more comfortable with this track. I'm really excited to watch his run down this course.
10th here last year, making it into the quarterfinals. He's been training hard, working hard. Great to have Micaiah back. Hopefully we're going to see quite a lot of his run. Keep an eye on that leaderboard for those riders that we're not able to catch the full run. I believe this is Paul Vogel from France. Great to have him on WDSC out in Turkey. Handled turn 6 nicely.
Micaiah here just getting some ankles warm, getting ready for the run here.
He has been drinking some sort of homemade hydration fluid, a lot of beets in there as well. So strange red. Just see if, yeah, there's a lot of that going. It's all change. All change. Everyone's looking for that edge, and that's a great angle on Micaiah through that second hairpin into what was turn 1. Well, still is calling it turn 1. We'll take votes on what we're going to call that new hairpin at the top, shall we? Keep it clean,
we'll have
folks.
To put a poll out.
What do you want us to call that new hairpin? Let us know. If we like it, we'll call it that tomorrow.
Micaiah looking comfortable, getting back in tuck there, staying locked. He's spent so much time training on Flagstaff. Colorado locals will know, or people who've been through the area. So he's no stranger to ultra steep, challenging roads.
He's got a great style on the board, hasn't he? Here he goes.
He really
turn
does.
6.
Nice, flawless heel side. You saw the little toe side setup. He touched the puck down, and then he just drops in for a cruiser, big heel side pindy there, and super comfortable through turn 6. That's exactly where he wants to be to put down the rest of this run. Like, we've said it before, you just need a really clean one here. So many people are going to crash, and there's so many rookies here this year that if you're experienced on this course and you put down a run that, you feel comfortable with at your, 85% pace, something like that, it doesn't have to be full speed necessarily right out the gate. You'll probably get in that top 20 spot, and then that time's going to get thrown away. So that's what he wants to do here, and he's looking super strong.
Yeah, this is simple. Just get in the top 20 and try and progress after that. And if you're in that top 20, you can't finish any lower than 20th once all this qualifying's done and dusted. And Micaiah looks like he's just focusing on putting down that clean run. No mistakes. He trusts himself, trusts the pace that he's got, knows the hill well now. And this has been impressive from Micaiah. It's not going to challenge, I would think, those quick times from Vankara or Fox, but it's not going to be too far away, and it should safely put him into Q2, I would expect. And Micaiah Harness crosses the line, 2:38.946. So solid work from the American.
Max Caps on the line, his first year here.
Just seeing Micaiah Harness goes into 7th, 3.5 seconds off of the leading time right now. Lucas Kuba on course, and they're back to Max Caps. Prototype and Venom, his sponsors. I love his leathers. Easy to spot him in heats tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. The classic Racer X livery. Max Caps, super strong push in. Mongo pusher, but a really strong Mongo push. Meaning he pushes with his front foot instead of his back foot. But Max,
I was watching Max yesterday, and I spotted that, and I was going to ask you about it, but you've answered it already.
Yeah, some people, there's a running theory that, you can actually get more power out of it that way. It kind of opens your hips up. It's a little different. The street skaters will throw a lot of shade on it, but it's actually can be a really powerful way to push. And a lot of these folks who push Mongo for racing, they know how to push both ways. They've chosen to push Mongo for racing.
Well, Max Caps had to spend a lot of yesterday figuring out this hill. He said he's not quite 100% on it just yet, but it is a hill that takes quite a few runs till you're properly dialed in. But he's a quality rider, isn't he? So much experience that I think by the time we get into heats tomorrow, he's just managing himself through turn 6 there, isn't he?
Yeah, the left side Pindy and then right side pre-drift, if you're having trouble with turn 6, that's a safe way to make sure that you get through the turn. And, there's really not a ton of time to be gained by late braking into 6, but there's so much time to be lost by crashing that, not a bad way to play it in that turn.
He's one of these guys thinking ahead to tomorrow that you look at the qualifying times and maybe he ends up, let's say, in 19th, just random, pick a number. And you think, okay, I've qualified, okay, I'm in a red or a green leg sleeve. Then you see someone like Max Caps in maybe a blue or a yellow, you're going, oh no. Because there's no easy passage, is there?
No,
Doesn't matter. Forget the qualifying. We talk about qualifying. Who's going to get the first lane choice in each of the heats tomorrow? But once you get in there on a course like this, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Really
maybe
doesn't.
for the first turn. That's it.
Yeah, but after that, it's whoever it can stay in the mix and wants to play ball. Selena Tyler here.
World champion.
She's been looking so strong. Yeah, world champion last year and just a really, really strong skater. It'll be interesting to see how she stacks up in the open field. I love that she's qualifying in the open field as well.
Yeah, same goes for Lisa Peters and Sabrina Brosi as well. We'll catch Selena Tyler's run in just a few seconds. Keep an eye on that leaderboard for you. It's updating throughout the day. Nice run from Paul Vogel, sitting in 6th place. He's going to be he's going to be happy with that one. We'll bring you Max Caps' time if we can see it on the timing system. 2:39.421 for Max Caps.
Yeah, not too bad there. But you can see sliding there, just getting, that toe side just almost gets away from him, gets it back under him just in time. So nice work through there.
Max Caps into 9th with his time. So last year's world champion, Selena Tyler from Switzerland, gets underway. And she'll be aiming to get through Q2 here, into Q2.
And Selena is such a fluid rider, really just she's got textbook form, and it's just so exciting to see her coming through so well. Looks like our feed may be frozen a bit here, but hopefully we'll link back up with her in just a moment.
Yeah, apologies for that, folks. It takes an army of people to manage a hill of this size with the drones and the pictures and uploading everything for you. So Selina Tyler is on course and underway, and we'll bring you up to speed as soon as we can. So I do apologize for this, folks. These things happen from time to time.
We're back on with Selina Tyler here, still looking strong. Chucks a little air brake there. Nothing wrong with a little air brake over that, the crack, the bump, whatever you want to call it. There's a seam in the road there that can be really challenging. So throwing the arms up and just shave off just a little bit, not too bad.
Yeah, picking up Selina a little further down the course, and apologies for that little minor issue with the pictures. All resolved here. You can see some clouds building over the mountains as well. There has been rain forecast really to come in late in the afternoon. We're hoping to beat the weather. Tomorrow is looking good, but the forecast has been changing so quickly here, and we'll just kind of have to roll with the punches over the weekend, and we'll bring you what we can. Of course, even the cloud cover can affect the drone signal, so if we have any problems, then we do apologize. We're trying our best to bring you the pictures. This has been an impressive run from Selina Tyler. There's a huge
really nice
shutdown zone as well.
Yeah, we missed a little bit in the middle there, but everything we saw looked great. I'm itching to see what that time is.
Well, I can tell you, Adam, 2:42.695 for Selina Tyler.
Wow,
So
yeah, good numbers from
quick.
her.
There you can see those clouds looking back up the mountain from the drone pilots. Jack and Hunter doing an amazing job for us here. Selina Tyler into 11th place, 7.225 off of the pace, but that's got a chance of holding on. The key thing is that she's ahead of Lucas Kuba. Just, you think with who we've still got to see on this course, maybe sort of 10th, 11th, 12th might be that sort of bubble zone. Adriano Volpe next to go.
Going to be interesting to see if that holds. It would be awesome to see a woman qualified in the open category for Q2. That's always exciting to see. Would love that.
So Adriano Volpe next to go.
Nice work there. I believe that's Francesco. And Adriano Volpe, a rookie for this course, but really fast rider. We've seen him, doing well in some other races recently in the past year or two. Someone who's probably going to pick up on the pace pretty quickly here, I would imagine. Always nice to see some new faces out here, new rookies coming to the course who are ready to play ball.
Well, they've all been watching. Great to have Adriano in a WDSC at round number 1 for 2026. And we love all the new faces that are joining us. And biggest field that we've had here in Erzincan. Enjoyed that line out of the turn there.
Yeah, that was flawless. A strong start. Looks like Adriano Volpe, maybe is trying to make a bit of a statement here,
Yeah, training's been going pretty well for him, and now he's got to step it up because these times all count. This is all part of the process ahead of tomorrow, and got to get into turn 6 now. Big slide of drift in, bit of contact. Great recovery, just didn't panic, kept it going.
Wow. I mean, that's comfortability right there. You know, he ices out a little bit, you know, butt touches the ground just a smidge and just picks it right back up. No worries. That is serious board control to be able to just pick it up back under you and carry on.
The
Little air brake here
confidence to
before he
do
goes
that.
over the seam.
Yeah, you got to call the air brake. But he has lost a little bit of time through turn 6. But most importantly, he's still moving. He's still upright. And speed checking, putting the brakes on early ahead of turn 9.
Well, shoulders over the bales as he bends in the left there.
Yeah, absolutely pinched it.
You know, he may be able to still pull out quite a quick time from this. You know, a little mistake like that in turn 6 that doesn't result in a crash may not be too much of a penalty.
Let's see if he can get under 240 because aside from that, little error in turn 6, there's been a lot to love about this run from Volpe. And the finish line just about in sight. Here he comes through the last of the turns and stops the clock with a 240.789. So that puts him ahead of Selina Tyler. It's quick, just behind Max Caps as well. It's got a chance of getting into Q2. Wait for it to update on the leaderboard. Might take a moment or two, as Lisa Peters is going to be next on course.
And it looks like we've got times kind of slotting into a couple of categories here. You know, there's kind of that gap between, Max and Selena, as you can see on screen there, about a 4-second gap, a little more. It'd be kind of interesting to see who slots into that. You know, who's on, sort of that 238 bubble versus, in that 240, low 240s range.
I think to be safe, you wouldn't want to be too deep into the 240s. Maybe 242 might be the sort of range. Wojtek Zaczek from Czechia. It's still Vankara in the lead. Wojtek on course right now. Lisa Peters just waiting for the green light. Supported by Girl Power Radio, Pantheon Longboards, where she's got her pro model, Valkyrie trucks, seismic wheels, BTR leathers, and urethane burners. And Lisa Peters getting underway. Ended up 5th in the standings last year, did Lisa. Just, she had that injury ahead of Park City in Utah. It kept her out of the race, which was a massive shame. But back firing on all cylinders and looking to take the fight to Selina Tyler.
Yeah, she's, from what I've heard from people who've been, training with her and talking to her, she's put in a ton of work in the off season. And we'll see how it pays off here, but it sounds like, she's been training a lot in the gym, changed up her setup a little bit, different board, and some different training techniques. And so we'll see if it pays off. She's had some good results in the beginning of the year and some sort of off-circuit races, some of the Euro Tour stuff. So, we'll see how it pays off here. I think it's going to be a great battle. The women's category this year is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic racing. But right now, Lisa Peters trying to get into that top 20. You can see that Volpe going into that gap between Max Caps and Selina Tyler. He's in 12th place at the moment. Lisa Peters through turn 6 into turn 7. Remember a few years ago when she was battling with Jasmine Hanegraaff on the bottom section of the course. It's one of my highlights of WDSC. Absolutely loved that individual heat.
Yeah, and those two have been skating together forever, so it's good to see them battling it out. That was a fun one to watch.
So Lisa Peters still
pretty
Yeah,
good through here, staying low, a little bit of, she's got an arm loose there, which is definitely adding some drag, but sometimes you just need it for balance, but, staying pretty low through there.
Just picking her up again into turn 9. Line is looking good from Lisa Peters.
Definitely not quite as locked through some of this lower section as we saw Selena earlier. Maybe a bit of a time penalty for her, but she's taking good lines through all the turns, so we'll just have to wait and see what the time is.
Well, the leading time 2:35.434, and we're working our way through the field here. Lisa Peters, 23rd athlete on course in this open skateboard qualifying Q1 to find our top 20, and Peters crosses the line. It's a 2:44.686, so that puts her into 17th place at the moment, and it's going to be pretty tricky to hold on through, I would say, for a top 20 from there, but you never know. But we still, of course, got Harry Clark, Bouclier, Carlotti, Paynell. So there's a lot of riders that you would expect to be fast, but this course has got some bite, hasn't it? You've still got to go out there and skate it.
It's got hands. Absolutely.
Get you out of nowhere. Harry Clark.
I think that's a new suit he's got. It looks tight. Looks good.
Does. He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah, it's looking aero.
And it was when we think back to 2024, where Harry was just unbeatable. He didn't race here in 2024, but when he did race after that, he was exceptional. Last season, you almost think of last season being a disappointment, but he was third here. He got the win in Utah. He wasn't far away, was he? He was
he had a great season.
Fourth in Austria. It was a really good season, but another man just had a better season.
Yeah, exactly. And when you compare it for him, to his that dominant 2024 season, I'm sure that stung a little bit, but it's not like he had a great season,
Yeah, he was in the mix. He was in the mix, and it is hard to win in this sport. Let's see this crash again. It's one of the Chinese riders.
And there's that patch right there in the braking zone, and I've seen a lot of people kind of hit the 1-2 around it. We'll see it when Harry comes through, and it looked like he just went straight over it. I don't know if that's what affected it, or if he just braked over it because he braked a little late and had to brake over it. I'm not sure, but I'm interested if that patch maybe adds a little bit of slippage there, kind of breaks a little more loose than you want it to.
Leaderboard just updating for you there. Jesse Fabrizio crossed the line with a 2:46. He's already out. I think Patrick Stoll knows he's not going to hold on. Maybe those that are sort of 8-9 seconds back can think, oh, well, it's Q2's not going to happen. Some of them will be in the QS race, hopefully later on today. Still another opportunity to get into tomorrow's heats. Harry Clark having a bit of a delay here, just due to that crash we saw.
That's always so brutal when you go up to the qualifying line. And then they say, oh, hold here, we got a delay, and your gloves are on, your helmets are on, your water bottle's set down, and then you just got to stand there and wait. The pressure's so high.
Yun Huxing from China, 2:36.328, puts him in third place. That was a rapid run. We didn't see any of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing him in Q2 and Q3 with that sort of pace.
Yeah. Really, really nice time there for Yun Hui.
Well, great to have three riders from China here, I believe, for the first time on WDSC, showing the continued growth. unfortunate for Harry Clark having to wait in the start right on the line, but he's been in this situation before. This is when experience counts. There's some hay bales being fixed. There's probably a crash on the course, so everyone's just getting put back where it needs to go to make sure the course is safe for Harry Clark here. And you just got to not let it bother you. And I don't know, have you heard the rumors? There was an article the other day that Harry's got his eye on becoming a dual sport athlete, a winter sport. Have you heard about that, Adam?
No, I actually haven't heard about this. What's the
deal? He's had his eye on skeleton luge.
Is that right?
I think he'd be amazing at it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I would love to see. I've been waiting for the crossover arc, for a downhiller or a street luger, to translate to like one of the winter racing categories. It seems like such a good fit, and I've been interested to see someone take that arc.
I think with the way these athletes, these riders, particularly someone like Harry, can commit to a line, push themselves to the max, but also the strength, the shape that someone like Harry's in, he would be up to speed pretty quickly in a sport like skeleton. Now, in a skeleton luge, you're sort of running beside the sled. Use the one-handed technique now, and jump on the sled head first, off you go. Looks like a lot of fun.
And with Harry's strong, he's got such a strong push. He's got to have a good sprint too.
Yeah, you need like a 40-meter sprint, which is something we know Harry Clark has got. Well, coming into this season, wanting to fight again for the world title that he won in 2024. His longevity, his success over the years is so impressive. He's got, in terms of WDSC, 8 podium finishes, which is the highest of anyone. Paynell's also got 8 podium finishes. Madzan also on 8. As Harry Clark gets underway, Clark with 3 victories on WDSC in the past. He has been one of the standout riders in the World Downhill Skateboarding Championship.
Yeah, I mean, iconic racer, obviously with his pedigree here again for another year, and we'll have to see how he goes this year. But I got a feeling he's coming in for a strong season. He's always a contender. He stays training year-round. He never lets up. Solid work through there.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Really strong. He knows he can't let up because the young guns are coming. So outwork them, out-train them. And then when you get onto the racetrack, you just got to leave it all out there. But he knows this hill better than anyone, or as good as anyone. And you can see him just holding the line. Great commitment through there into turn 6.
Interested to see how he goes here. And Harry, he's changed his toe side form. He used to grab rail, and now he's not grabbing rail. He's doing it more. He took a page out of the sort of Owen, Diego, Frenchy kind of style of leaving that, leaving your arm open, the one that's not on the ground. Kind of lets you maneuver your hips around a little differently, get a little more stopping power. I think that's going to work well for him this season now that he's made that transition from grab rail to no grab rail.
He's got one of the best tuck positions as well in the business. And we're going to have another wind tunnel session coming up that WGSF have organized ahead of Isle of Man. And I know that Harry will be looking at that because time in the wind tunnel, especially on fast courses, expecting Cumberland Valley to be pretty quick. Your tuck position, how you can manage the aerodynamics, find that optimal position is absolutely key. And this has been an impressive run from Harry Clark. It is just Q1 though, where you've got to avoid the major mistake, and he's done that so far. The finish line is almost in reach for Clark. It's just round this final little turn. 2:35.43 for the leading time right now. Harry Clark, one of the best in the business, stops the clock. 2:33 7:23. We have got a new leading time in Q1.
Wow.
It's Harry Clark. That was lightning, but of course we have still got Bouclier. We've still got Carlotti. We've still got Paynell to see who will be in the lead after Q1.
Oh, yeah,
Van
so
Kara
many
was the
fast
second
riders
man
left,
on course, and
Ooh.
it's held up. But yeah, you were saying so many fast riders left, Adam.
But man, to put 1.7 seconds into the leading time there, that's a fast run. Really, really a nice work from Harry there. Carlos Jara on course here. Swiss rider. Really talented rider with Carlos. I raced him in Austria a couple years ago. We had a really nice battle through some of those straights.
Well, here he is on the start line. Ready to go. Just keep an eye on that leaderboard because we're not able to cover every rider. Want to keep things moving in this quality Q1 in case the weather does come in. Getting Q1 completed would at least mean that something has been ticked off. And there is a man, I believe, making his debut on this hill. Nick Brahms. I was really impressed with Nick last season.
Yeah, me too. And I've been so excited to watch him on this course because he loves wild and crazy tracks. I mean, he's got the skills, he's got the talent, he's got the head for it. To just shut your brain off and and just go fast. So I'm really, really excited to see what he does on this track.
Third in the Isle of Man last season. Third in Utah. Fifth in El Salvador. But I think he was the top qualifier in El Salvador, wasn't he?
I believe so.
He was fast. He was fast anyway. So
yeah,
and then
absolutely.
obviously the rain came in for the final. Carlos Jara through turn number 7. I've got Nick down as a title challenger this season.
I think so
I've
too.
got about 4 or 5 other guys on that list, but he's on there.
Nick was so, it was like all eyes were on Nick, pre-COVID era. He was a young rider at the time, and it was, the golden boy, Nick Brahms, and then, COVID hit, life hit, and we didn't see him on the track for a couple of years, though, and we weren't really sure if he was going to come back, I think, but I think he maintained that he was going to come back, and boy, has he come back, and he is so good right now.
And we are delighted he did come back, and great to have him here for the first time in Erzincan, supported by Legendary Foods, Carbon World Health, and Mission Bay Fit Body Boot Camp. And whenever I'm in the San Diego area, that it will be where I go to get in shape, and a pro presenter as well. Nick Brahms looks like he's on one here.
Yeah, he does look like he's on one already. I mean, you saw that winding way out and staying so locked through here. Locked through the sweepers, too. I mean, he's not letting up an inch.
This is the key section, isn't he? Everything has gone flawlessly so far. Setting up to running it pretty deep into turn 6. Massive commitment from Nick Brahms. Oh, and he has absolutely stuck it through there. Great exit speed.
Yeah, he's on a scorcher right now, and you can just see how committed he is to staying in that tuck. No hovering arms, no lifting the chest, no lifting the head. Everything is just in perfect position for absolute speed.
Setting it up through turn 8, and he makes those moves so quickly. And you see a little wobble through there, but you're going to get that on turn 8 because it's so long. And now, bam, there he goes, straight back into that locked position, Adam.
That's where you can see a rider who really, really wants the speed here. To get that little bobble and a little arm flare and then just lock it back in, you know, arms straight back behind the back as soon as you can. I have a feeling this is going to be a scorcher.
This is going to be quick. There's been another scorcher as well from Bouclier, 2:34.816. And Nick Brahms chasing down Harry Clark's time at 2:33.723. Surely within touch for Brahms here. The finish line, there it is after that. This last little sweeping turn. And Nick Brahms has pinched the line throughout this course. And Brahms stops the clock. 2:33.477. That is the new leading time in Q1. He really was on one there, Adam.
Wow. I mean, debut appearance. What a statement. What a statement from Nick Brahms. You know, first year at the track, bam. Puts down a 2:33.477. Cracking time.
Quarter of a second ahead of Harry Clark. Bouclier 1.339. We know how quick he can be on a hill like this. There is still Q2 and Q3 to come. Last year's world champion, Adrian Painel. Seismic, Madrid walk, foot stops, lock, skate gear, Becker grip soles, product designs, Lion Strong Athletics, supporting the world champion. But Brahms has set a great pace in Q1. Let's see if Painel can match and better that time from the American.
Painel's in the uncomfortable position, perhaps, of being someone who people watch him drop and they expect a track record. You know, they don't expect a top 5 or a top 3. They say, oh, Frenchie's dropping? Well, let's see. Is he going to put down a new track record? It's just so much pressure there after the season that he had last year. But if anyone's up to the job to live up to that expectation, it's Adrian Painel.
I thought he relished it last season. Came to Austria, got the victory in Austria, and that was some fight for the victory, wasn't it, throughout the rounds. Then it was Erzincan, where he got the win and setting track records. Of course, we've got a slightly new track. Oh, this is good. This is very good, as we'd come to expect from Painel out of turn 6 into turn 7.
Yeah, and again, you know, just like we saw Nick Brahms through this section, just chest all the way down, like we said, in, you know, full tuck, you know, fully tight tuck. Although actually peeking up a little air brake here, didn't expect that, but seems comfortable through it here. And I got a feeling he's going to find a way to go fast even with that small air brake there.
It's like he needed it just to, I'm just managing my speed through this section so that I can fully commit on the line. But he's picked it up again, and this is right on it there. Watch how he exits this turn and then boom, back into the tuck position, looking for the speed in between the turns, hogging that that yellow line on the left. And now one more turn to go for Painel. Nick Brahms in the lead, 2:33.477. This is where the tuck position is absolutely key. There he is, getting back in shot, and look at that. You can see no movement at all. Absolutely locked. Painel on the charge in Q1. Is he going to go ahead of Nick Brahms with the 2:33? Painel into the shutdown zone. I think he's pretty happy with that. He should be. 2:32.148 to put 1.3 on everyone else. That was electric.
It's hard to tell where he finds the speed. He just seems to find a way to put in so much time into his competitors. It's incredible. It's not the first time we've seen him do it, and you just watch him go down. He's so fluid. He's so perfect. Sometimes he's moving so fluidly, it doesn't even look like he's going that fast. And then you see the time, and it's just cracked.
It's deceptively fast at times. But it's that, you said there's no movement. You watch the board, watch the wheels. Everything is just locked in place. It is truly exceptional what he's doing. But it is just Q1. We're not giving him a victory yet because we know tomorrow is where it all matters. But you got to put yourself in there, and he's made a good start. That is for sure. Well, we got some inline on course. 3 inliners here. Great to have them here. Filippo Pradelli from Italy is the first man on course in inline. We've got Tiziano Ferrari and Carlos Quiroga as well. So 3 inliners to come, and then that will get Q1 in the books. But the clouds have been rolling in, Adam. Weather is not looking great for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and not really a course that is going to be reasonable to run in the rain, I don't think. You know, some courses it's okay, and some of them it's really just not reasonable, and I think this falls into the latter category there.
Yeah, Zach Maiden was saying the same from a safety point of view. No intention to ride in the rain here. Let's, you know, and I think there was pretty much unanimous agreement with that.
Yeah, you're not going to get too much pushback from the riders on that.
No. It can get a little dusty as well, and when the rain comes down here, it can bring things up. There's obviously new concrete, a new road being laid. There's been a lot of trucks, so the rain here is very, very challenging, and we just have to deal with it. Hope we'll get enough of a weather window to get the rest of get Q2 and Q3 all in the books. And we've got the QS race as well. Good to have inline back, and they were here last year for the first time on WDSC, and the inline category in El Salvador was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? Because so much support for this discipline in South America, and they came out in serious numbers and put on a show.
Yeah, that was a stacked race heat and a fun one to watch for sure. Big numbers out. You know, a lot of the Colombian racers came out. There's a huge scene over there. And so to see all of them showing up and racing, we don't always get to see that. You know, sometimes they share events with downhill skateboarding and street luge, and sometimes they don't. So it's good to see them sharing events and coming out. And you can see them skating out of that turn there. Strong work. You know, it's incredible what they're able to do skating out of turns. To be able to pick up speed, you know, that's where I think inline differs the most from these other disciplines is they can actually accelerate in ways other than just gravity. So, you know, if you miss a turn a little bit, you can skate out of it and add some power in and, you know, accelerate a little bit.
Physical conditioning, absolutely key in every discipline, but the stronger you are on inline, the more power you can get coming out of these turns. But the force with that sort of braking into turn 6 that puts through the knees is exceptional. That is why you got to be so strong, not just on the quads, but the hamstrings as well on inline to support that knee, because the whole body is kind of working against physics with these sort of turns in inline. Quiroga, world champion, on course here. We've been enjoying his run. This is where you have to adopt that quite a wide stance to get that platform through these faster turns. You can see him just not quite in the tuck position, opening up, a little bit of air braking, and hopefully pick him up through the remainder of the turn. But you can adjust your line really quick on inline as well, because if you're running straight, you can just sort of hop a little to the side. So totally different dynamics to what we've seen in the other disciplines, and that's what makes it so fun to watch as well.
Yeah, it is. It is. The mechanics are quite a bit different than the other two disciplines, and it is electric to watch.
Carlos Quiroga from Colombia, nearing the end of the track here in Erzincan, and will bring Q1 to a close. And then we'll take a look at the sky. Does that fantastic run from Quiroga, the Colombian. There we've got George Cheeseman sitting on the line. He will be first to go in Q2. But there are spots of rain falling. It's very light I've just stuck my head out the commentary van, and the rain is starting to fall. George Cheeseman 6th in Q1, and he does get underway, so trying to move very quickly here.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll try to get Street Luge Q2 underway before the rain. You know, if they'll get the full round of folks through or not. It'll be interesting to see here. But nice start from Cheeseman.
Had a little crash yesterday, sort of hurt his finger, but all okay. When he's on one, he can be very, very fast. And George went out to the Winter Olympics in February just for a day. Flew out to watch the luge, the skeleton actually, skeleton luge to give it its full name, and early start off to Cortina d'Ampezzo. Saw Great Britain win a gold medal in skeleton, and then headed home in the middle of the night. That's commitment to sports that you love, isn't it?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. You know, yeah, they saw. We had another street luger talking about. You know, thinking back to the crossover from downhill to the ice sports. I remember Ryan Farmer. He was world champion a few years back. I think he was trying out for the U.S. Ice luge team. I never heard how it went. I mean, I never saw him in the Olympics. I assume it didn't work out. But he was a fantastic street luger.
George Cheeseman through turn 7. This is a decent looking run, but I think more rain is starting to fall. Yes, you can see some blue sky in the distance, but there are some clouds overhead here at the top of the course in Erzincan, high up on Erzincan mountain. We're just below 2,000 meters as well, so a bit of altitude. The wind is picking up as well at the top, and that's not a good sign. But
and I'm sure the rain is on George Cheeseman's brain here. It can change your braking points so much that even just a few droplets on the road, once you start to hydroplane, when you
George!
put your foot, and there it is.
George!
There it is in the bales.
Oh, let's hope he's okay after that one. Don't know
Big
if the
hit
track
for
had
George.
got wet. Yeah, that was a nasty one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it again, or not. We're going to go back to there. It is, just catching him going into the bales. We've seen a lot of riders, street luge, stand up, go into the bales on that turn.
He's taking his time getting up. That's not a good sign. I hope he's all right there. That is not what you want to see. That's a big hit. That is not where you want to crash. Big hit for them.
That's
it looks like
high-speed part of the course as well, and just getting word he's on his feet actually. So appears to be okay as a few hoods go up. You can't see it on screen, but the rain is coming down now. Just make it out. It's getting heavier, so I'd imagine they're going to call this and say we're going to go on a delay, and we'll just wait for any official word. But the wind has picked up. Beautiful waterfall in the background, and the rain starting to fall here. Well, Adam, whilst we got a few moments, there was some really impressive riding in, particularly the stand-up, but very, very quickly in the luge. Andy Lally getting it done in Q1. Well, folks, the news is not good. The rain is getting heavier. Word is we're going to cancel it for now.
It's intense. The World Downhill Skateboarding Championship is back in Erzincan, Turkey.
The big crash corner. This is going to be huge.
Colby parks, but leaves some room into turn 5.
And there's a collision, and they both go down.
It is a drag race between these two. Oh, this is amazing racing between these two. It's going to go right down to the
huge crash. Get ready to battle it out on the slopes of Erzincan. The race over for Andy, carrying a lot of speed into turn 6. There's some contact there. Contact, I think Clark this time. Oh, and Bouclier. Oh, Oscar gets through. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. It's super tight on the banner. Bit of a wobble before the haymaker.
There was definitely some contact there.
Yeah. He's into the big final. One step closer to the world title.
The rain is coming down a lot harder now, folks. Word is that we are going to postpone things we're going to move Q2 and Q3, I believe, to Sunday morning because it's not looking good for the rest of the day. So it's going to be a busy schedule. Keep your eyes on our social media, WDS Championship on Instagram. We'll update you on any timings, changes to the schedule. We'll still be looking to start the heats tomorrow at 2 p.m. Turkey Standard Time. Thank you so much for tuning in, though. Keep an eye on social media. We'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, and Bouclier. Oh, Oscar gets through. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. It's super tight on the banner. Bit of a wobble before the haymaker.
There was definitely some contact there.
Yeah. He's into the big final. One step closer to the world title.